Shut your mouth. In a shotgun. Bitch, what you say?
Shut your mouth.
Justice, one shell at a time, baby.
See, I'm the bear. And you're the teacher.
And where is the magic circle?
Yeah.
Is it? Am I closer now?
You bend over, I'll show it to you.
She's gonna be a teacher!
All right, that's enough. Let's go.
All right. Welcome to Movie Dicks!
I'm Zach.
Well, I'm Josh.
Tristan!
How you
Shut your
doing?
mouth.
How we doing today?
Oh,
It's very
First-
cold in LA. It's very
It's true. Be
tidbit nibbly.
grateful that we're not homeless people that just have one goal, and that's to get a lawnmower, but we'll get to that.
And one flannel is
Yeah.
only flannel.
It's really nice flannel though. I admire it.
It is. Canadian flannels really are the superior flannel.
I keep forgetting this is Canada, not Detroit. But we watched what movie?
Hobo with a Shotgun from 2011.
And Zach, this was your pick, correct?
That's right. Yeah, it stars Rutger Hauer. We were doing our little Halloween marathon thing, and then we took a few weeks off, and then we went for kind of not really straight Halloween movies, but things that are really in the spirit of Halloween. Where
Only gay ones.
Oh,
Hello!
Hi.
Was that a homo with a shotgun?
Oh, I mistyped.
It's how it comes out every time I try and say it to somebody. I'm like, they probably think I said homo with a shotgun.
Homo with a
It's a bit of
Shotgun.
a slip there, Tristan.
Is my Freudian slip showing?
A little bit. I like it though.
Sorry.
Yeah, so
Back on
up.
topic.
All
Back
right.
on topic. We're here.
So yeah, this is a. I mean, let's back up and talk about where the movie Hobo with a Shotgun came from. I think many people might remember an earlier film or a double feature in 2007 called Grindhouse, which was Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino making back-to-back movies. Robert Rodriguez made Planet Terror, and Tarantino made Death Proof. If you went to see these in theaters, they would show them back-to-back, but more importantly, in the middle, between the movies, they would show these fake trailers for certain movies. They had, 5 of them, and 2 of them have now been made into movies. The first one, I think, probably the most notable one is Machete, of course, starring Danny Trejo. We also have Werewolf Woman of the SS from Rob Zombie, which is my personal favorite of the trailers. Still waiting on the movie for that one. Don't from Edgar Wright, Thanksgiving from Eli Roth, and then finally this film, Hobo with a Shotgun, which was directed by Jason Eisner, who isn't too well known, mostly kind of a behind-the-scenes guy. He did a lot of different things. He wrote one of the segments for ABCs of Death, wrote one of the segments for VHS 2, was a second unit director on the live-action Death Note, and most recently, he was the editor for the second Goon movie, which is called Goon: Last of the Enforcers. So, yeah, obviously. And let's talk about Grindhouse for a little bit. I've always thought, I'm a huge Tarantino fan, obviously. I've always, it's generally regarded that Robert Rodriguez is, somewhat in Tarantino's shadow, but not so on Grindhouse. Grindhouse.
Not in Mexico.
Yeah. So
Maybe, I assume. I'm making huge assumptions here. I really don't know how popular he is in Mexico compared to Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, well, I mean that's how his career started. Was his first movie, El Mariachi, was made for the straight to VHS Spanish language Mexican movie market, and then he kind of took off from there. Now, I mean, he makes most of his money from doing, kids movies, Spy Kids, Shark Boy, Lava Girl, and the El Rey Network, which is a great network if you can get it on your cable package, because just full of just old kung fu and just weird schlocky B stuff that you're not going to find anywhere else. Just a great network to really sink your teeth into if you can get it as part of your cable package.
Yeah, I mean, all the kind of shit I imagine that helped inspire, Grindhouse and all of that collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Planet Terror, we talk about this. The first one stars a go-go dancer who loses her leg and replaces it with a machine gun, and that go-go dancer is
useful in a strip club, really.
Yeah, is played by Miss Rose McGowan, who we discussed last week.
No way.
That's right.
And who discussed us.
Disgusting in the most intriguing kind of way. So yeah, Planet Terror is your straightforward zombie movie, and then we get into Death Proof, the second film from Tarantino, and
which is the only one of the two that I've actually seen.
Yeah, I only saw all this once in theaters, but I was disappointed in Death Proof. It's really long. All they do is talk. It's Tarantino. We all know he's known for having a lot of dialogue.
He's a bit wordy.
Yeah, a lot of exposition, but this one, takes it way too far. It's supposed to be about Kurt Russell, who's a stuntman whose car kills people, but there's very, very little of that, but it's mostly just them sitting around in a bar.
But what there is of it is pretty solid.
Yeah, what there is of it towards the end, but at that point they put Rodriguez's pick up first, and Tarantino's actually the B movie, now that I think about it, which is an interesting kind of choice. But really, after we sat through Planet Terror, which is an excellent film.
Oh, sorry.
and five of these very, very entertaining trailers, Death Proof is just a little long. I've never really cared for it. It's probably one of my least favorite Tarantino movies, but still a very valiant effort. And if Rob Zombie's listening, we're still waiting on that Werewolf Woman of the SS movie, which is a great Nosploitation kind of thing and stars Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu. So that absolutely has to happen. It's got
yeah.
it.
And you guys are familiar with, of course, the root of that sort of parody that Rob Zombie's talking about, Elsa She-Wolf of the SS.
Oh yeah, there was a Italian sexploitation film called The Last Orgy of the Gestapo that I saw once.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so some of this
Business
stuff
or pleasure,
gets pretty... Someone at a party once, someone told me like, "Oh my god, dude, go look up Last Orgy of the Gestapo," and I'm like, "Oh my god, I must find this now." So, yeah, these Nosploitation films from the 60s and 70s, this of course what they're going for with Grindhouse was every kind of something exploitation you can think of. We had nunsploitation, nurse-sploitation, not-sploitation, black-sploitation, Ozploitation, just you name it, it's been done. And Hobo with a Shotgun, really, I think of all of these, goes the furthest into not really trying to sell out or take anything away from this. It's the one that goes the furthest with we know our source material. We're going to go all the way with this because as good as Planet Terror and Death Proof were, they felt a lot more like the movies of their time, whereas Hobo with a Shotgun is yanked from the 1970s and just has zero redeeming quality whatsoever, and in fact doesn't really attempt to. It's not pretentious at all. It knows what it is, and it goes completely 100% in that direction and just pulls no punches, and that's what I think is really memorable about it. So that's kind of a long kind of tangent on where this all came from. So we'll get into Hobo with a Shotgun itself. It was filmed up in Canada, I believe, up in Nova Scotia, and we'll
home of Trailer Park Boys fame, as we're sure to get into.
Yeah, home of Trailer Park Boys. It's not so much that it's it's that there's a very small Canadian film industry, and there's an even smaller one in Nova Scotia. Most people, they don't know anything about Nova Scotia, but they'll know Trailer Park Boys. But the thing you need to realize is, a Western Canada, a place like or Eastern Canada, and a place like Nova Scotia, that's like, if we had a show coming out of Alabama or Mississippi or something like that.
Yeah, it's fucking nowhere. It's
middle of nowhere. There's not a lot going on.
There's nothing there.
So Trailer Park Boys got made through a government grant. It was like a public access kind of show because in Canada they want to support their own film industry, so you can get these kind of shows made, and then of course it's become the international hit that it is now. But yeah, a lot of the cast crew who worked on this were directly or loosely connected to the Trailer Park Boys universe. Like I said, the Jason Eisner, the director, was the editor of the second Goon movie, directed, of course, by Jay Baruchel, who has become kind of famous now. But he wrote and directed those two Goon movies. He also directed several episodes of Trailer Park Boys, and he appears in. There's a show some people might know called Letterkenny, which is. I
heard about that, eh?
Yeah, it's kind of a modern. It's kind of a modern Trailer Park Boys spin-off, also set in Canada. And clearly, those guys were inspired by Trailer Park Boys. And then, the most obvious one is that Ricky himself, Rob Wells, shows up in the beginning and has a spectacular death scene. Get
this freaking thing off my neck! Come on, somebody help me! I'm fucking dying here!
Yeah, we were watching this weekend with some of Tristan's friends, and just from hearing him off camera, right, we're like, wait, that's Ricky! Oh my God, that's Ricky! Like, even before you saw him, it was very clear that Ricky was in this. And then we have Molly Dunsworth is she's the main female lead. She plays Abby, a street walking prostitute with a heart of gold. And she's played by Molly Dunsworth, daughter of John Dunsworth, who we all know as Mr. Leahy. And she's the sister of Sarah Dunsworth, who, of course, also plays Sarah on Trailer Park Boys. And then we have one final. This is kind of a deeper cut. Really, the hardcore Trailer Park.
Next,
Boys
you're going to
fans.
tell me a J-Rock's in this fucking thing.
No, he's not.
This
goes even deeper than
Jonathan
that.
Torrance, of course, is his name.
the chief of police. You've seen him before.
Oh shit! You're right. He's like, oh fuck, oh my God.
He showed up in a number of different Trailer Park Boys episodes. He plays either their lawyer or a judge.
Yes, right.
Yeah. So he's very interesting, though. His name is Jeremy Ackerman. It turns out he's an actual politician in Nova Scotia. He was in their state assembly, and he's like the leader of the state arm of a political party, and so this is what I really like about having such a very small, almost non-existent film community, is that they're willing to kind of all pitch in and help. Trailer Park Boys is obviously it's full of swearing and drug use and crimes being committed, but it doesn't
sounds like
matter.
fucking good time to me.
No, exactly. It comes from Nova Scotia, so damn it, Nova Scotia is behind Trailer Park Boys, and so much they're willing to get this this local politician who is willing to keep coming back in different episodes and support them, and I don't know. There's a really cool kind of DIY quality about that, where it's Trailer Park Boys has become this big international thing, and it's it's the biggest pride in Nova Scotia right now, and they're still backed up 110%. So I don't know. I just kind of like that. That's good to see. That's not something you'd see out here in LA. Maybe you could get a politician to be in your thing out here if it was some big budget movie, but out there, it's like, what, you're shooting Trailer Park Boys? You need me to come down, put a suit on, play a lawyer? Hell yeah. Give me a date and time,
That's good for business. It's good for tourism.
Absolutely, yeah. So, So shout out to Canada and Trailer Park Boys, Nova Scotia, all of that. Because I know Tristan and I are huge Trailer Park Boys fans. We could nerd on that for hours. Josh isn't so much into it, but I think he's seen it.
I am not a Trailer Park Boys. Is that how you say it? Trailer Park
Trailer
Boys?
Park.
Trailers Parks.
Trailers Parks Boys.
Yeah.
Now we're getting into Squirrely Dan from fucking Letterkenny.
Now we're getting to Metalocalypse.
Who was pronounces? Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Miss Katie. They call it Trailer Park Boys. Yeah. I was watching Trailer Park Boys the other day.
But not to. I do know the show a little bit, and it has lots of connections, sure. But like the film is, I mean, how would you say? How would you feel about this? The Trailer Park Boys are over the top, but this film takes it to the next level when it comes to over topness.
Oh god, this is a whole different like universe of over the topness.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
this, like, because at least Trailer Park Boys like does have a pretty, you know, a tenuous but solid like basis in this mockumentary style, where it's like this is plausible enough, like shit that happens in that show might actually happen in some context somewhere in the world, maybe not Nova Scotia, but it may as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like there is an element of reality in Trailer Park Boys that they try and
Trailer Park Boys almost, you know, because it can only work in Canada because we, you know, as Americans have this very idyllic idea of Canada. It's, you know, you can commit crimes and then the next season you're getting out of jail again no matter what you did. It just
hey, jail ain't so fucking bad, you know.
Well, that's one thing I'm very
don't be talking shit on jail, Julian.
About this film, there was a serious lack of Canadian accents, and I feel like that was a
there was a bit you have to know
it's very subtle,
subtle. Eh? Oh, you put down the shotgun, okay? That's just not polite.
Because people in Canada don't actually fucking talk like that.
Dude,
Josh, we discussed this on Saturday. Your Canadian accent sounds Mexican.
That's fine, eh?
It's completely opposite side of the continent.
I don't know what you're talking about, eh? So the film, it begins.
Yeah, I know. There was a very long exposition, and that you know, some people from Trailer Park Boys are there, but the comparisons kind of stop there because if you're a fun-loving, you know, love the comedy of Trailer Park Boys, you're not going to get.
You're not guaranteed
of
that
from this.
Yeah,
you know, I'm not going to say you won't like this, but don't expect it to be like Trailer Park Boys, other than the fact that, you know, some people from Trailer Park Boys worked on it.
I'll definitely tell you, after a 6-paper joint, fucking the boys would be sitting down loving this fucking movie, though.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you guys want to come over and watch Hobo with a Shotgun? I got some pepperoni poppers in the fucking.
Yo, let's go, smokes. Let's go.
Let's go, smokes. Let's go. Trevor Corey, I swear to fucking God, you don't set up the fucking movie. Sorry, Ricky. You don't know how this projector works.
So the
it's
film,
like a box with a flashlight in it.
Oh no. So the film starts with Rutger Hauer, the hobo, entering this town for the first time. And what's the name of this town? Do you guys remember?
Scumtown.
I thought it was
Well, no, it's technically called Hopetown, but the sign has been painted over, and so it's a Scumtown. Sometimes
by the way,
Fucktown. Sometimes.
And by the way, boys, just for context, not everybody knows what a hobo really is.
So go ahead.
He's an old timey boxcar riding hobo. He comes in on a train, you know, like in the 30s or something. You don't see that anymore.
Yeah, he's a migrant worker, homeless vagrant, usually, you know, not very well off. Started around, you know, the 1890s, like a tramp or a bum. But hobo's kind of like he's a more employable like homeless person.
But
he's not like insane. He's not.
He's still insane. He still talks to himself. He makes projections that aren't true or aren't based in reality.
Well, he can hold it together. He's not, you know, walking around talking to walls, and he's not strung out on very. You know, he drinks a bit, but he's not. You know, I mean, we live in LA, and there's especially if you go down to Venice, there's some interesting people you'll see there.
I mean, he did kind of shoot up hundreds of people too, so like he's probably in the midst of a psychosis, most likely.
Maybe we'll get into that. I would like to explore the possibilities, like how insane is this hobo?
Maybe this story's way more grounded than we think, and most of it was just
maybe he's the only sane one, and you know the town is that's where.
Well, see, that's part of it, right? It's like, is this a sick man in you know society as we know it, or is this a sick society that just fucking has a man who is done with this bullshit?
Exactly.
These will be interesting questions that we will address.
So it's not clear why he doesn't just get on another train, but he's in this town.
Plot. But yeah,
it's probably fucking cold.
Yeah, true.
It's fucking cold, boys.
Yeah, but by the way, this was filmed in Canada. This takes place in America, folks. Clearly, this is an.
Yeah, how else is he gonna buy a shotgun?
Yeah.
This is a very American movie. It's but it doesn't really lay it down like, oh, this is what America's really like. It's just kind of like, oh, hey, it knows it's an exaggeration and it's ridiculous, but let's
call it a border town. It's probably a border town.
Yeah.
Somewhere on the bumfuck rush between Canada and the States, like this fucking town exists.
Yeah, because this seems like a very Rust Belt kind of thing, because you can see all these kind of abandoned factories with broken windows, and there's weeds in yards everywhere, and this looks like a town that was formerly good, but has seen much better days. So like Josh was saying, a Detroit or certain parts of Ohio or Pennsylvania or something like that.
Yep.
And that's where we begin. So he gets off the train in Hopetown, which has been renamed Scumtown, and he's walking down the street.
It's ruled over by this fucking crime lord called the Drake.
The Drake.
Which is the most Canadian fucking villain name I've ever heard.
Hold on, he's played by this actor named Brian Downey, and I don't know if I didn't recognize him at first, and I did some research, and it turns out he's from one of my favorite television shows in Canada, especially Canadian television shows. Do you guys know which television show that is?
If it's not Letterkenny or Trailer Park Boys, you just completely
lost
on
me.
Say,
like,
or Mystery Science Fiction 3.
Wait. Is it Degrassi?
No. That's my second favorite.
Josh loves Degrassi.
I mean, it's an emotional show. No, there's an old sci-fi show. I want to say old, 90s, 2000s, called Lex, about a spaceship that can destroy planets. This screw-up captain, who is the Brian Downey, the Drake character, and an assassin and a sex slave. And they go on these adventures throughout the galaxy, and it's totally insane.
Holy shit!
Insane. And it's so cheesy and corny and dark and nihilistic. It's amazing. I love it. It's so fun.
That makes a lot more sense with the casting choice. That would have this choice is him.
But he steals the show when it's him. He brings a lot of energy to the villain, which is needed, right? Because Rutger Hauer's character is more of a stoic kind of observer, especially in the beginning. He doesn't want to jump to. He's not there to save the day.
Rutger Hauer doesn't really say anything, I think, for the first maybe 10 or 15 minutes.
Exactly. The story's carried by Drake and his
kind of
sons.
getting to know town.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. And, of course, Ricky, who's running around town in the middle of the street with a manhole cover shoved over his head. So it's, like, worn around his neck. And he's, like, handcuffed, and he's running from his own brother, who's the Drake.
Yeah.
And the Drake wears a white suit with a black tie and a white tie, and he's got two sons named Slick and Ivan, and they wear these kind of matching black and white Letterman jackets, and they drive these black and white cars with the kind of DeLorean doors and sunglasses. I mean, one of them I thought looked like Johnny Knoxville, and the other one looked like he's that guy from Arctic Monkeys, Josh Turner. Kind of looked like him a little bit. But,
yeah, except they're both fucking idiots.
Total idiots, but they have power.
They're total. I mean, the trope of the 1980s jock villain is just completely true with these guys with their Letterman jackets and their sunglasses and their slick back hair. And...
On top of that, you have it like everything they have because of their father. So, like, they're entirely incompetent.
Yeah.
They never had to earn anything. So they just get all the toys and resources that daddy provides, essentially.
And a whole fucking ass load of cocaine.
I was going to say, lots of crack. They throw it around
so
like
much coke.
How do you feel the cocaine effect was? Was it pretty believable, or was it obvious to you that it wasn't?
It looked very grainy, honestly. Yeah.
I'm
not saying any of us here know what cocaine looks like, right?
Never seen it in my life.
What's this cocaine you keep speaking of?
But I love that point. Like they go into the Drake. You get the action inside of like the Drake's compound, which is also like an arcade
bar.
Like
barcade.
There's a bunch of barcade. And, like, some kid, like, still owes them drug money or whatever, and they break his fucking hand on one of the controller, like, knobs on
that scene opens with they have bumper cars, and the first thing you see in the scene is a guy's head being crushed between two of the bumper cars.
By this gang of punks, which is so not punk rock.
These are like 80s like punks with the mohawks and the studded jackets. This is classic punks.
They reminded me of edgier,
street punk style,
like the Foot Clan from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If they were all high on cocaine, from the original
Word.
movie. Like, that's what
Oh yeah, yeah, a lot like that.
They give him free smokes and fucking for arcade games, and before you know it, you gotta go kill somebody.
Exactly,
Yeah, that hideout was awesome. They had a skate park in the middle of that warehouse.
Oh yeah, dude, I worked for
that was a good movie. I haven't seen that in a while.
Fucking sick.
Maybe we'll do that one day.
Yeah,
just not part 3, and I know it'll end up being part 3 because.
Oh no. God,
yeah,
no.
but anyway, so they break the kid's like hand on the fucking knob, and then to make him feel better, I guess they just dump this big bag of coke right on top of the game console and shove his face into it, and he feels fine.
Which just goes to show 2 things: one, the brutality of that son particularly, and 2, like. It's not about the money that he owes him. It's that he owes him money and he didn't, because he wasted way more worth of coke on the kid just to make a point, you know. So like just to establish that the bad guy's bad guy. It's like when you have the introduction to the bad guy scene, he kills somebody just so everyone knows this guy ain't good, you know.
And,
I guess
and then about 20 kids kind of jump on top of the cocaine and are all kind of doing it.
Like,
so this is yeah, they have all the youth in this town
addicted to coke.
Yeah, and doing their bidding. They got them hooked on coke. And we should back up a little bit because Tristan, you started with the story about
oh right.
Ricky.
So Rob Wells,
that's a really good scene to kind of set everything up.
Yeah, so he's running away from his brother the Drake for some inter-family squabble reason. Like he was trying to leave town, I guess. It's like nothing in this movie is really well developed, so just take it as it comes.
I beg to differ. But go ahead.
Well, we'll get... And so he's trying to leave town, so his brother's pissed off. They put the manhole cover on him because it's like their thing, apparently what they love to do, is shove somebody like with their neck inside of the manhole cover into the manhole. So just their head's popping out, and you'd think that when they throw them in there, that neck would just fucking snap. But Ricky's got a thick old neck, Rob Wells does. And they put a barbed wire noose around his neck and attach it to a car, and Drake just rolls out as fast as he can in his big ass truck and just decapitates his brother. So that's the first kill of this whole movie, and it's fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, but what happens? The blood squirt, and some woman comes up and runs.
Yeah, a woman comes up wearing an all-white bikini and like a fur coat. And then she dances in the blood spraying out of his neck and kind of rubs herself as the blood sprays all over her.
Oh yeah,
fantastic!
Guys,
I like.
I mean, this movie. It must be said, this movie is just these very creative and gruesome deaths, and it just keeps stacking one after the other. We go straight from this to the bumper car scene to it just. More and more just very sadistic yet kind of quirky ways of just killing and maiming people. And
a lot of this movie is setups for executions, right?
Yeah.
So like they have the situation, they have the plot, they have the world, they have the conflict, but like that takes a back seat to the real show, the real spectacle, which is all the different ways we can kill people. And all the amount of squibs and fake blood, which everything's practical, thank God. So, like, you're totally grounded. It feels real, relatively speaking. When it comes to films like this, like trauma films is what it makes me think a lot of. That's obviously cartoonish and over the top, and there's no, like, human qualities. The most trauma characters, they're just extreme exaggerations. This feels like there's at least a little bit more grounded. Not a lot more, but it didn't feel cartoonish in that way. Like, the physics felt proper, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Again, none of us really has any familiarity with physics.
Well, the head, the physics as in, like, if you fall from a large distance, maybe you'll, like, splatter, not survive, stuff like that.
That, I still think that neck should have snapped if you fucking, you get thrown in.
In the old days, executions, the way it worked, they would drop you from a 6-foot height, and if your neck didn't snap, you would then be choked to death. And not every time did your neck snap. It just depends on the weight and everything else, weight, how strong your neck is. And the thickness of the rope. All of these play, a part.
Fair enough.
We'll do an experiment. Bonus content.
Oh shit! Do not do this at home, people.
Tell me what to do.
But send video. Send
the videos. Yeah. Post mortem. Send them.
Oh god.
So it's the hobo is walking down the street. It's very dark and dreary. There's a lot of other stuff you see. There's like a guy who dresses up like Santa Claus who's clearly a pedophile, and all this. There's
literally a black child just like screaming in the back seat.
Yeah, he just abducts a kid into his car and drives off, and nobody does anything. There's prostitutes everywhere, and there's people literally standing around barrels, keeping themselves warm in the middle of the street, and it's just really dire stuff. And then he comes across.
Fights. Don't forget the bum fights.
Yeah, there's So
there's
he
a lot
sees
we're forgetting, but it's okay.
I mean, Josh, you remember bum fights better than we do. What was that?
Yeah.
For people who have forgotten.
Why? Because I used to have a little bum fight alley that I was part of. I mean, look, that was back in the past.
I didn't say.
Well, yeah, 3-time champion, as I recall.
Yeah.
I could drink more. That was the only reason I won.
Bought 13, yeah.
But bum fights was an exploitation sort of thing in the 90s to early 2000s, where
you could buy these in liquor stores and shit.
Well, you could buy bootleg DVDs and everything, that people would burn on their CDs
bodegas.
and DVDs and all that stuff.
And down at the bottom, maybe behind the fucking counter, sometimes you could get a hold of some actual fucking bum fights.
Yeah.
Of some asshole who's out there fucking paying bums $10 a pop to beat the shit out of each other.
$20 a bottle of whiskey. You can get those guys to do a lot. But yeah, it was like a little way to get, low cost fighting from the lowest of the society. But it is what it is. I don't know what happened to those guys though. I should have done some research for that.
Some of them went to jail. I think.
I'm sure.
I hope so.
Hope. Yeah, that's one of those cases where I'm like, yeah, good riddance. But yeah,
maybe some of them are working at Magnet now.
Well, they offer Rutger Hauer's character, the Hobo, some money to take part in the fights, and he's not interested. But he watches with disgust though as he leaves. He holds a sign up. He's not above holding up a sign. And I believe it says.
Well, he comes. So it's obviously very dark music, but then he comes across a pawn shop, and we see a lawnmower, and the music suddenly breaks into this, this very hopeful, very positive kind of score, and now we're seeing the wheels turn in his head and realizing this is his salvation. He's got to get $50 by this lawnmower, and that could be the end of his troubles.
Yeah, man. Boom, flip it.
And he says that on his sign too, correct? Yeah, I'm tired. Need money for a lawnmower.
I am tired.
I am tired.
Need money for lawnmower.
Not even proper grammar. How is he going to get money if he doesn't use proper grammar? It doesn't make sense.
Well, at least he's not in epic amounts of debt from his...
True. He's probably the richest man compared to all of us.
Fucking bachelor's degree.
Right? You fool.
Maybe that's how he became a hobo.
True. I'm sure there's a great backstory there somewhere.
Defaulted on my goddamn loans. Need a lawnmower now.
He's like, I couldn't get a job mowing lawns in LA. It's like, I wonder why.
Yeah. It's because everyone has gravel in their front yard? Probably something like that. But there's not a lot of green here.
It's another reason.
My friend, you're overqualified, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. True.
You cannot work here.
You speak English, too.
If you go to Canada, they do not have us there.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
At what point does Rutger Hauer then, he's drinking behind the business where Drake's sons hang out, the barcade. And,
So we see the whole scene where, they're killing people and inside their little barcade, and this is now where we see our first glimpse of Abby, who Molly Dunsworth is one of the main female lead in this. So she sees one of the sons, I forget which one, and she's actually really into just how psychotic and badass he is. So
I don't know if she's into it. She's just trying to make a buck, honestly.
Just a hustler.
And maybe not get killed by, the most powerful crime lord in the city's son.
Yeah, so they immediately decide to go to the back. They start hooking up, and then it's revealed that no, he's actually going to kidnap her and
who knows
sell her into sexual slavery.
Torture, murder, rape you.
Yeah, he's going to do something. Something with her. And now this is where the hobo comes in, and he, presses the son and threatens him, and doesn't have a weapon at this point, but is clearly not taking any shit from Drake or his sons. Now he ties him up and he drags him off.
Yeah, he beats the shit out of that young guy.
Beats the shit out of him, drags him off to jail. literally deposits him onto the desk at the police station. He says, "Give me the chief of police," which I think might be it's one of the first things he says. After he goes in this, I think he goes on this whole rant about moral degeneration and about how things have come to this because of drugs and all kinds of other things, and how there's no more. Really, you can tell he's one of those old hobos where he grew up, where back in the day when it was respectable and people didn't lock their doors and whatever else.
Yeah, whatever old timey golden era that is long gone.
Yeah, but back in the day when a hobo riding the rails was he had wisdom. He was like a philosopher who just rode the rails,
king of the road.
All that. So he's give me the chief of police. So here, Jeremy Ackerman, from Trailer Park Boys, local politician. Keep in mind, local politician.
Yeah.
This is important with just
playing the chief of police.
Yeah.
The crooked chief of police in this fucking movie.
Yeah. Comes in and at first he was very concerned about what the hobo has to say, but then he brings the son in and he's bought off by the son, and they start kicking the shit out of the hobo, and then more importantly, they pull out knives and they carve the word scum into his chest deep, and they leave him out back in the dumpster.
That reminds me of my emo days.
Go on.
No, that's I'm gonna cut it. Okay. I'm gonna cut it off.
It's across the street, down the street, across the street, not down the straight and narrow. Huh?
Yeah. One way for
yeah, exactly.
Way for results. Yeah.
Yeah, scum is a really great crisscross if you can get it down. With the penmanship, knifemanship.
This shows the hubris, though, of the corruption of that city, because they could have just killed him right there, but they'd rather make a point. A lot of them, they love spectacle, and I think it comes from the character of, Drake being basically a game show host for the end of the world.
Yep. That's why he's so good. He remains power, because every day he comes up with some, incredible new show of brutality, and even when he kills his brother, everyone's sitting there watching, and he always goes, don't forget, I'm in charge. I've got this. He needs to make it very clear that he's more than capable of this kind of thing, and even puts on a show about it.
Yeah, I think at one point he even says, "Welcome to the show." Always treating the situation as though it's just entertainment, a spectacle, which makes good for good storytelling for something like this, because you need that belligerent, over the top, exploitative villain to really make these over the top death scenes and kill situations pop. Give it a nice setup. Again, making it slightly more engaging. Here we go.
Indeed. So like after this whole, he gets thrown in the dumpster, he ends up, finding Abby, the hooker with the heart of gold. And, he of course saved her life, so she takes pity on him. Maybe she just did anyway. And he just says, "Help me." He's fucking bleeding out.
Poor hobo.
Takes him to her home. And she takes care of him, tries to clean him up somewhat, gives him a bed for the night. And when he lays down on her bed, he tells her this very strange story. He says,
"Bears.
Got tell you a story about bears." She's like, "Yeah, sure."
Okay.
He's like, a bear, if it swiped at you, it'd take off your whole face. Your nose, your lips, your eyes, everything. As long as you stay outside of the magic circle, the bear won't attack you. So there's this whole weird murdery side where his psychosis may be peeking through
a little bit.
Well, but see, this doesn't make any sense. So
none of this makes any sense.
No. But okay, so if this just happened one day, okay, but he's not like a local hobo. He just rolled into this town. Mm-hmm. He came into their magic. It doesn't. The whole time it's just why don't you just get on another train, man? Clearly they don't have money for getting lawns mowed here. Your business model doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You came into their magic circle. You can take your magic circle and go somewhere. And I don't know.
I think the only thing I can think to really justify that, other than just the obviousness, the script needs to happen. Turn off your brain, let the ride, continue.
Suspend your disbelief.
Suspend your disbelief. is that maybe like he has some sort of interest, or maybe he's done this sort of thing before, or maybe there's older stories that are connected to this, or maybe there's something about the woman and like him putting himself in her shoes and feeling like he has to defend her. Maybe that's what keeps him there. Obviously, that's a stretch, and none of that's said out loud. So it's all just, what can I justify? Which is fine.
But this guy White Knight's real hard.
Super hard. And it is for her. This is about like her a lot more than him. Like that gets these wheels rolling,
She's just like, oh, I'm just a hooker, I have to do this, and he's like, no, you're very smart, why aren't you a teacher? You're gonna be a teacher. Keep saying that.
Like, buddy, I fuck for a living. Don't have many other options here.
And the way the men talk to her too, like hey, fuckhole, like stuff like that.
Dude.
Like the shit that comes out of these people's mouths. Oh my god, it's pretty next level. Like a lot of the dialogue is just as gnarly and explicit as all the violence itself.
Also, despite how deeply he was cut, it doesn't even look like she stitches it. She just kind of
covers it.
Just kind of mops it a little bit.
She pours a bit of vodka on it, it's good.
Yeah. Just give me a pull of this. Like, he's got that hobo strength. You could just fucking feed him a little bit of booze and he's on top. Oh, wait. He has this little bit where he's like, I just got this thing where I tell my mind, like, he's telling me it hurts, and I say, well, fuck you, because I ain't got nothing for you.
The pain.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, he's like a brother to me now.
Which is basically his explanation for his superpower.
Yeah. He's just super gnarly that he can just shut down pain and choose to ignore it somehow.
Hobo wisdom.
Yeah, hobo wisdom, y'all. You don't learn that in the book. Sorry, it's in the book.
You learn that.
The book places what you call them.
Learn that on the streets.
So what happens next? He
starts getting justice, right? We have a little montage, right?
He goes back to the bum fights guy first to get money. Yeah, so there's this brutal fucking like.
He doesn't find anyone.
Nah, he just eats glass.
Yeah, and you watch on camera slowly, close up, blood dripping from his mouth.
Yeah, or like he gets a bottle broken over the back of his head and then he eats the glass.
To show that he's very dedicated to getting, like, he's made his decision. I'm getting this no matter what the cost is.
Yeah, and that's $50, y'all.
$50. Yeah. Straight to the pawn shop.
Yep,
where you have the most sentimental and, touching scene of the film. Where they have the music, the little sad, like, kind of
in slow motion, he's like he's like
he's fondling the lawnmower.
Yeah, he's touching the ripcord and just this nice piano music is playing, and you can tell this is going to be, his luck is about to turn around, and then what else happens but suddenly the store is being robbed.
Yeah. By three jackasses
and ski masks,
ski masks, yeah. And the first thing they do is they start pointing they point a fucking pistol right in the face of this baby.
Yeah.
And these are
there's like a mother in there.
These are giant weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, like gigantic fucking handgun, just like right in the baby's face. and he sees that, of course, the hobo sees that this is not going well. Like, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And the shop owner is giving them all the money, and they're demanding more. And they say they're going to shoot this fucking baby if he doesn't give them even more money, which he clearly doesn't have. So Rutger Hauer takes his hands off the ripcord of the lawnmower, and what does he do? Picks up a fucking shotgun.
A shotgun is just sitting there, no lock on it.
Loaded.
No safety.
Yeah, no.
Fully loaded.
Clearly it's already loaded, in fact.
Yes. And then he unloads on the thieves, effectively destroying all of them.
I got it.
But then he buys.
And he says some cold shit to them, too.
Yeah. He has some good one-liners in this, When he's fed up, you can tell, like, the script had him say some pretty interesting things. I wish I noted them down, but I did not.
Working on it.
Yeah. I'm sure there's actually a lot of fun quotes in here, and I was reading stuff earlier. I just didn't save it for some of his.
I did find a Rotten Tomatoes list. They have some of the because there are some excellent quotes in here, and just as brutal and violent as the kills are, just how vulgar and just crass the language is that comes out of everyone's mouth as they're doing it. It's you want to laugh, but you're also just like, wow, like that's.
I really wish they would have taken the opportunity to kind of play with the quote from Blade Runner, his famous one. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Hobo is on fire, something like that, and just taking it down, like Time to Die at the end, that would have been fantastic. Maybe too self-aware.
Yeah, well, I guess Josh, you know a bit more about Rutger Hauer than we do, right? You said.
Oh, I know he's in like Lady Hawk. He's in this movie where he's like this blind kung fu guy. God, what is it called? I can't remember off the top of my head, but he has an interesting like filmography from the 80s and 90s. All B stuff, guilty pleasure stuff. Nothing that really pops out. Arguably, there may be a couple gems in there. It's been a long time since I've seen much of his things, but I was fairly familiar with him when you guys said you hadn't seen much from him.
Well, apparently he was the lead in a movie called Turkish Delight, which was the best Dutch movie ever.
Best Dutch movie ever. And he's a Dutch actor,
Dutch.
correct? Yeah.
Yeah, he's Dutch, yeah.
He even says that.
He also he died last year in July.
Rest in peace.
All right, rest in peace, Rutger Hauer.
Time to die.
Oh man, did fucking COVID claim him?
Who knows?
It was last year.
It's COVID-19.
I'm not saying he didn't. I mean.
Oh no! Is this one of those bullshit deaths where it's like, well, he tested positive for COVID, but he died in a fire, so that counts as a COVID death.
We're gonna count it.
Yep.
Funding. Oh Jesus. Yeah, so I couldn't find out what the first like kill shot like quote is, but
do you have some you just wanted to throw out there?
Oh God, I mean, there's so many good ones. Okay. Like, oh God,
jerk off to this, you child molesting shit licker.
Yeah.
And then he kills Santa.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Very trauma-esque in that one.
Oh yeah, actually, what he says when he brings the son to the police is, lock him up with the sodomites and get me the goddamn chief of police now.
My personal favorite when he's talking to Abby about their lawnmower business. I've already got a slogan. You grow it, I cut it.
Yeah, that's right. While she's patching him up, he's talking about the lawnmower thing, and they use the same kind of sentimental piano music at different times. He's going ding ding ding, and she's like, "Yeah, that's you'll mow the lawns." And I forget she had some kind of role in it, but they were going to work together and get a better life running this lawn mowing business. And everything was going to be good.
She's going to use her communications degree.
Yeah. No comment.
No comment.
But then from all that now comes the montage, the over-the-top montage.
Oh, here, okay. I found a quote. Okay. Put the knife away, kid, or I'll use it to cut welfare checks from your rotten skin.
Oh, yeah. Such great, like, hobo puns and lines in this fucking shit. Hobo tropes.
Hobo tropes. I like
so now he's killed these robbers, and I guess they worked for Drake, or no, it's because one of Drake's sons was attacked, and now they know this hobo guy is on the loose. So now they basically decide to go scorched earth on the city. They start a literal genocide of the homeless.
Yeah. But it's like, but peppered in between, like, before we get to, like, the retribution, like, this hobo's going around killing all these fucking degenerate people that ruin the city. And, like, in between, there are, like, these news articles and headlines.
Yeah, so it's taking place over, like, a long period of time, and they have very clear pictures of him in each news article. And
like, bodies pile, parents smile.
Yeah. These great puns.
First, the public is on his side. At least that's how the newspapers make it look.
I must say, to his credit, after he kills all the goons in the pawn shop, he pays for the shotgun. He puts the money down, make sure everything.
Yeah.
He does everything by the book. The other thing about the shotgun is this, especially if you've seen the Evil Dead movies, particularly Army of Darkness, there's really no upper limit to how many shells a shotgun can hold, I guess.
Not in a movie like this.
No.
Because what's fun about a shotgun in a movie like this is that it goes boom. and you don't want to stop to reload. You just want to go boom.
You just keep pumping, and shells keep coming out.
It's like it's like 5 or 6 shells.
Yeah,
like you can cram in there like at a time for accuracy's sake, But he's just continually reloading. You just don't, there's no point in wasting film on that.
Look, he has the cheat code, the shotgun cheat code. Okay, again, this is Hobo wisdom. You guys would know this if you spent any time on the streets.
Oh my god,
privilege is showing.
Also, the second half to that, put the knife away, kid. They'll cut welfare checks line. Slick fires back with, "Well, you better cut one to Mother Teresa so you can give it to her while she's finger banging you in hell."
He says, "Mother Teresa is a saint."
Don't talk smack about Mother Teresa. Not to
Fuck
him.
no. Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's almost like a. If Mr. Rogers was down on his luck, he's just like, no, I don't approve of this.
And he was off his meds for like 20 years.
Right. Developed a bit of a drinking problem.
Yeah.
A little scatterbrained. Read a lot about bears.
Yeah.
Like the same chapter repeatedly from that one book for 20 years, that sort of feel, yeah.
So the Drake sends his sons out, and their gang to not just get this hobo, but just really take it on the entire city. So the first thing we see is them firebombing a school bus full of children.
Yeah! Literally, like, was it Ivan or... I think it's Ivan who, like, just steps up in there and says, "Hey, kids like fucking ice cream?" They're like, "Yeah! You guys like fucking water slides?" And they're like, "Yeah! Do you like fucking hobos?" And they're like, "Yeah! Well, guess what?" And they I forget what he says after that, but then he fucking torches them all with a goddamn flamethrower.
Right. The extreme violence in this film, is basically unmatched by most things that I've seen.
Yeah.
But on design, obviously.
Even I, when I first saw this, was like, whoa, this is pretty crazy for even my standards. Mm-hmm. This is something else.
And who would have thought Canadians, man, they have some repressed violent fantasies. They must, because some of the things that come from Canada are so insane.
I think it's this. You
mean like hockey?
Yeah.
I'll talk a little bit about the theory. It's kind of like, they're very high up north. It's kind of like, the Scandinavians, where, they have pretty high tax rates, universal healthcare, good schooling, all of this. But, some of the most brutal, depraved metal ever comes out of these Scandinavian countries, because it's just if you
fucking Vikings, man.
Yeah, but
fucking Vikings, dude.
It's like, look at us here in LA. It's we've got crime and inequality and all this, but we're just kind of going around like, oh yeah, that's bad. But up there, if it's this very peaceful thing all the time, you're gonna look to kind of play depravity or horror, the kind of stuff you're not actually getting in your country around you. You're gonna kind of seek out some other kind of darkness to fill the void from living in a place that's actually nice and good.
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
shadow work.
They're actually really in touch. Yeah, exactly. They're actually very in touch with their shadow.
Go on, please give us a little. Some
Did somebody call for the Jungian?
Yes, the Jungian shadow. We never aired our episode on the chicken Poultrygeist. And on that one you mentioned, that was like a lot of delving into the shadow. I feel like this has the same sort of thing, but even in a more grounded, serious way. I feel like the shadow work being done in this is more serious.
You mean in a more Canadian way?
Canadian way.
Like, it's really the shadow of Canada is the United States.
True.
Everything that they sort of want, the deeper, darker instinctual urges, anytime you see a Canadian pop star, the younger they are, and they come down to the States to, make a way for themselves in the career. I'm thinking specifically in this case about Justin Bieber. Yeah. Their shit just gets fucking wrecked because they can't handle the utmost depravity that exists in our country and is just kind of okay if you have money or popularity or status. And, for Canadians who are usually, very well known for their respectfulness, maybe over politeness, Yeah, it's just ripe for corruption. So this is a great, bit of shadow work. The Canadian like psyche delving deep into the murderous, raping and pillaging and like hobo slaughtering and like prostituting, like underbelly. The things that you would normally minimize about yourself, like that are scary and uncontrollable to some extent. Yeah. You get the more you're familiar with them and you get to know them and you turn out to be a really nice person.
And you get some
that's
very
why it
interesting
makes
films. Sorry, Zach, go ahead.
Well, yeah, it makes perfect sense that Canadians would do this because obviously they don't think we're that bad, but there's clearly some stereotypes of police about us, and they kind of exaggerate them to the highest level. This is what America could really be like, is these prostitutes and drugs and a literal genocide of homeless people and being run by gangs, and it's just you look at that and you're like, okay, yeah, well done, Canada, because we as Americans, we watch this and we're kind of repulsed. We're also kind of like, let's
I can see that.
Yeah, accurate.
4 more years of Trump, we would have been there.
Oh God, starting yesterday probably.
Hop, skip, and a jump.
Right. So okay, so they get some revenge, right? They kill the kids. They turn the public against the homeless. So a purge begins. Zach, what the hell happened after that?
Well, there's some more stuff with Abby. It turns out that the local police really enjoy her services.
Oh, yeah. She has access.
Yeah, so the a cop in a car on duty rolls up, tries to get her, and she said, she's offering it. She's trying to walk home.
My legs are closed for the night.
Yeah, her legs are closed for the night. He starts chasing her. They go under a bridge by a river, and now he's about to rape her. And then, the hobo shows up again, and it's like, hey, asshole, I'm a cop. You can't do this. But the hobo doesn't care. And why else? Because she's going to be a teacher!
Yeah. Blows his fucking head off.
With a pretty glorious one. There's some good head blowing up scenes in this.
Yeah.
There's a great, and like as he's like yelling, she's a teacher, like his blood sprays all over her face and she's screaming.
And she's a little upset by this for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason. I don't know.
See, that's one of the tricks. Is it's one thing to show the death. It's another thing to show other people's reaction and then the splatter. There's a lot of scenes where you either see splatter spraying on people's faces, or more importantly, spraying on the camera itself, and there being so much fake blood on the camera is now obscured. That's a a kind of cheap little trick that I think is used really effectively and really creates a great tone when they use it.
Yeah, and something we haven't mentioned too about the visual aspect here yet is like there's this really like oversaturated kind of like film that they're using, or I don't know what the effect is, but it just makes
it's kind of it looks like if you the really really old kind of 3D movies you'd see where they'd give you the one of the lenses would be blue, one of them would be red.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that, except it's got these great purples and yellows, these kind of exaggerated neon hues to everything.
Yeah, and it's really over color saturation.
And at this point, it really starts to pop too, because this is when the film kind of changes its aesthetic, and it becomes kind of like a cyberpunk, like synthwave, dun 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 dun, neon lights, especially when you get to the hospital scene, and we get to meet those two assassins.
Yeah, we come into this underworld like portion of the film where there is this fucking this weird organization made of two like mercenaries who are covered head to toe in black like smelted armor that they've crafted themselves.
Very Mandy-esque in a lot of ways.
Yeah, we'll Josh and I will get into Mandy a little bit more because we were watching this the whole time going, this is Mandy.
This is a total shift. You can tell the Mandy directors borrowed heavily from this.
Yeah. But those two guys are called the Plague.
Yeah.
No,
the real source of the corruption, it seems like in this town, it's like, and the power of the Drake is like, no, he has these guys on speed dial. That's why he's the heavy.
And not to mention, like at this point, the film was somewhat grounded. Like there was no magic per se. There was nothing like that. But then suddenly, with the introduction of these guys, things start to take a mystical slant, sort of like demonic,
Like a
slant.
demonic
yeah, demonic
And
slant.
and it appears they have Cthulhu chained up as their prisoner
in their dungeon.
Yes.
You always see like some
tentacle
tentacles,
monster.
but they're like pushing him behind a door, and there's some tentacles. So I guess they're
Yeah, like
so
the Mist.
badass that Cthulhu is their bitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what you're up against.
Cthulhu is their gimp.
And I don't want to, like, this is probably one of my favorite shots or scenes of the movie, which is kind of sad because it's not really about the hobo too much. But it's when they first come into the hospital and they have their preferred method of killing, which is tying a rope around your head and shooting a harpoon into the ceiling.
Yeah,
then just hangs you
stringing you
there.
up into the ceiling.
It's fantastic. And you have a hallway that's just filled with tangling bodies with this neon light
Hospital
in the background in the
workers.
hospital. There's neon light in the
The
background.
real heroes,
and then
you
you have
guys.
this thumping bass line, like synthwave bass line, like da 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 da. And it's like, oh, this is cool. I like the
Yeah,
aesthetic.
the soundtrack is it gets like you said, a lot more synthy after a while, but this is a kind of a cheaper synth. It sounds
Very Mog.
more like an
1990s
actual 80s
Mog.
synth than
Yeah.
somebody trying to emulate one. Like, the Stranger Things soundtrack is great, but those are, real analog synths with depth to them, and there's a whole, fidelity, a whole range of fidelity. And this just kind of a simple, like, just kind of looping over and over again, cheap drum machines and stuff like that. But that really adds to the flavor than if you put, a lot of money into doing the kind of soundtrack.
Which is a bold aesthetic choice for a film, like like something inspired by an exploitation film, because generally like this has more like Hellraiser type, or what's his name, Clive Barker, sort of almost Halloween, that sort of soundtrack, that old school style. Just does a total shift.
Yeah, this movie takes a turn that you never would expect.
Yeah.
When it brings in the plague and goes in that direction. But let's get to that hospital scene. But back to how we got there. So eventually, Ivan and Slick track down the hobo and Abby. They're hiding out at Abby's apartment, and Ivan and Slick come in, and they're both wearing ice skates.
Yeah.
Yes,
in the
it's
most
Canada.
Canadian style of fucking assassination. They come calling to kill the hobo with ice skates.
Yeah. Just walking on a regular, street in ice skates. They get into the apartment, and one of them stands on Abby's neck, with the ice skate, slits her throat. You think she's dead, and then the other one pulls out a knife for the hobo. The hobo kills. I forget which. It was one of the sons. It was the better of the two sons. The one that Dad always liked more because he was much more sadistic, and the other one was just kind of messed a lot of stuff up. So one of them is dead. The other one, the hobo threatens him and he runs away or something. But the hobo takes Abby, walks into the hospital, throws her body down on the desk at the ER. He's like, get me some medical attention now. And they immediately rush her in. He goes into the OR with them. And as they're working on him, they're worried about to die. And one of the nurse says, "Stay with me. Don't die on me, you whore."
Oh yeah. Live, you fucking whore! The doctor just screaming this shit at her. She's got this massive fucking neck wound too. Like Slick was already like halfway through sawing through her neck. Like while the hobo's getting curb stomped with a fucking pair of ice skates. Oh yeah. And well when he eventually turns the tides and like he shoves this one of the skates the guy's still wearing like into a toaster that's plugged in. He turns it on.
Yeah.
And fucking electrocutes the shit out of him, and it makes him come.
Yeah. That's right.
He fucking made me come.
So that's how he dies, and then the other brother doesn't die. He gets shot in the dick, and
shot in the dick.
Yeah, and the gut that is hanging out is there's a few inches of it where it used to be, and he immediately goes to the phone booth and calls his dad, like, "Daddy, you got shot," And then his dad's like, "Oh, I always liked you more than your brother, and now, tell me where you are. I'll come get you, and I'll take care of this."
I'm not gonna make it, but Dad, you're a rat, Dad.
Yeah, he says you're a rad dad, and then he dies.
and he's taken away by this vision of like the torched school bus full of children taking him to hell.
That's right. That's very
the school bus rolls up, it opens up, black smoke, and he gets into the school bus and it drives off. Yeah, that's a great shot.
Oh, it's so great. So they're live you fucking horror. They're in the hospital after all this shit's happened and Ivan's dead. Yeah, like,
right?
Yeah, she somehow recovers from a like several inch.
Well, she makes a long speech in front of the mob. Remember when she rallies the locals?
That's later.
That was before she gets her neck sawed.
No, it's after.
It's after.
Is it?
That's at the
Holy
end.
shit!
That's it. No, we'll get to that. But yeah, but like, so she can get cut pretty deep and be good, and he can get cut pretty deep and be good. Well, so far it's just a regular hospital, but now the plague shows up, and it suddenly morphs into this. It's like going to a professionally done haunted house, because yes, we said they start hanging people from the ceiling. All the light gets pretty dark, and it goes to red, like we're in a dark room or something. And there's literally bodies hanging from the ceiling in the hallway. And now the plague are walking through, and they're looking for her. But at this point, the hobo walks up to the maternity ward, and he sees all the little babies lying there.
And he makes this fucking. This is kind of where you see his motivation for giving a shit about this town. Like, he has this wild fucking monologue, and it goes, I used to be like you a long time ago, all brand new and perfect, no mistakes, no regrets. People look at you and think how wonderful your future will be. They want you to be something special, like a doctor, a lawyer. But I hate to tell you this, if you grow up here, you're going to be up selling your bodies on the streets and shooting dope from dirty needles at a bus stop. And if you're successful, you're going to make money selling junk to crackheads. And all the babies are crying and shit. And don't think twice about killing someone's wife because you won't even know it's wrong in the first place. Or maybe you'll end up like me, a hobo with a shotgun.
Yep.
And that's the only hope for these children that he can offer them.
But then the plague has something else to say. Because he has to fight them. And he loses.
Yeah, he gets his ass kicked by the plague, and then Abby goes to the store to do her thing, right? What?
He gets fucking shacked up with one, or he gets one of the manhole covers put on his neck.
Yeah. They say take him to the glory hole.
Oh, right.
And there's great cheering at this, which is, I guess, what they call it when they put someone in the manhole, is the glory hole.
So we were joking, like, I wonder what's going to come through that.
Cthulhu's, you know what?
Yeah, fucking Cthulhu's, yeah.
Cthulhu's wham.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was going to be tentacle porn. Wow.
Very progressive.
So now he's in the hole, and Abby goes and breaks back into the pawn shop, and she apparently has just excellent mechanical skills because she welds.
She welds.
She welds. She saws off some shotguns. She takes the lawnmower and makes it into like a. She does something
kill machine.
Yeah, makes it into like a killing machine.
Spinning blade of death.
Yeah, and gets all this like arm. She makes all this armor and does this whole thing.
Very Army of Darkness-esque.
Yeah, exactly.
Very Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
And then she steps out. She's about to go there, but now an angry mob has cornered her in the pawn shop, and they're looking to kill her. But she once again turns the tide with a rousing speech. I think Tristan might have part of it.
Talking about how like, you're killing all these people because they're on the streets, like, because they ain't got no homes. Well, guess what? We're in their home. It's called the streets.
Yeah.
And it makes no fucking sense. And
it's not rousing. It's not
inspiring. Now that I think about it, you're in the magic circle.
Oh, shit! The magic homeless circle is the streets! You have the roundabouts.
You're in there with the bears, Shit.
with the Bears.
Oh, not the Bears.
So
That's Chicago.
The Bears.
We don't like the Bears.
so her doing this now unites all of them to her side, and now she's leading this mob to get Drake. But so apparently people just really, really love Drake at this point, and he has the hobo in there in the hole, and on all sides are people standing around with signs like this is a sporting event, and he gives this grand introduction. Oh, welcome to the show. Are you not entertained? That kind of thing. He's the ringmaster of his own circus.
This dime store Caesar.
He's the I guess he's the Vince McMahon is the best way to put it.
For this murder spectacular, it's gonna happen when they're gonna behead the hobo the same way that he did his own brother at the beginning of the film. But of course, in comes Abby to save the fucking day with her spinning murder top.
Whole time the hobo's like, no, leave her alone. She's a teacher. Just take me.
Why'd you give a fuck about a town and never gave a shit about you in the first place?
Yep. And so she's she's threatening one of the sons. Like, oh, I'm gonna kill him. And then the dad just pulls a gun out and shoots the son for her.
Yeah.
And it's like, you think I give a shit about him? He was the bad son.
Yeah. Their only bargaining chip now gone. The Drake just fucking unleashes on Abby and uses her own, lawnmower weapon to brutally fucking take her entire hand down to like midway down the forearm.
I want to talk
until
about
it's like
the
a bone stub.
The shot is the second best shot in the whole film, in my opinion. And what I like about it is her dedication to the pain that she'd be feeling, like her scream and her look on her face is horror.
I felt that shit.
And you could see her fingers bend in every possible direction before they're like chopped in little pieces. And then as it goes down further and cuts off more of the flesh, only leaving like a chip bone sticking out, a few inches of the bone. And then of course, being that this is Hobo with a shotgun, she follows that with stabbing a man to death with her own fucking...
She gets this like hooker berserker energy.
Exactly.
It just fucking starts shanking Drake right in his fucking gut with her exposed bone tip.
Yeah. What a hell of a kill scene.
Shake. That's my favorite murder actually in the whole movie.
It definitely sticks with you. It was like for murders for sure. Definitely my favorite.
Sticks with you.
and then with that one bit of bone sticking out, that's just big enough to fit in the manhole cover hole.
Oh God!
And she pulls him out. Pulls him out.
Yeah,
of the
somehow.
manhole.
Again, this berserker like rage that she's somehow tapped into allows like this very slight kind of woman to wearing heels no less with one hand like uses the other exposed bone tip to shove it into the groove of the manhole cover and lift the hobo and the manhole cover off
completely
and
dedicated
up.
to the scene, like that scream that she makes, that face that she makes. It's
because usually in horror movies there's a few stock screams they use in all these movies, but hers was especially blood curdling.
Yeah, they probably had to keep the boom mic away for that scene. So intense, Yeah.
And like this is a part of an essential part of this movie that is so fantastic is that everyone in it really does play it straight.
Yes.
They do not tongue-in-cheek this at all. Everybody who's acting in this movie plays it as if it was fucking real high stakes.
That's why I say it's grounded. Like I keep saying it's grounded because for that reason exactly. They all play it straight. Like so far as they all know, this world is real.
And usually in a one of these B movies, there'd be certain performances where you're like, wow, his acting is really bad. There's no bad acting. There's no really poorly acted performances. They're all fairly decent actors, but they all understand the tone and the kind of style they're trying to go for, and they commit to it 110%. And everyone just gives their all, and
they all know what film
it
they're
just
in.
works.
They all know what film
they all know.
It's not like a Birdemic or a Samurai Cop where people are like, it's so bad it's good. Obviously, this is self-aware.
Yeah.
But, the actors all are on the same page, and it works beautifully.
Mm-hmm. So how does it all end? She saves the hobo, but what happens after?
The police show up and they shoot the hobo.
Yeah, she's able to get away.
Well, there's a shootout between the police and the rest of the mob that she brought with her.
Oh yeah,
that's right. Yeah, her mob turns on the police.
Yeah, and it's kind of a great equalizer.
The whole mob,
the mob equalizes the police and vice versa.
Yeah. And now everybody's dead.
Except for their prostitute. I believe she survives.
Yeah, literally, like, as the hobo is killed, just the credits roll over the image of his dead body.
Yeah.
We don't even get any chance to breathe. It's just, boom, he's dead. And that's that.
Yeah. No wrap.
And actually, I read in this that there was an alternate ending.
Yep.
Where there's an extended cut that includes Abby's hand being replaced by a Gatlin-style shotgun.
That's hilarious. Why would you need a Gatlin?
And she joins the plague.
Does she really?
Well, she joins the plague.
That's right.
Because that's what the plague says after one of the members of the plague is she kills one of them, and the other one says, no, you must join.
That's
the
right.
plague.
Yeah,
he tries to take.
Yeah, you killed Drake.
He tries to take her, and the hobo's like, no, take me instead.
Well, I was thinking why Gatling, because the ammo's infinite in this world anyway, so it could just be any shotgun.
It's because it's fucking, it's handheld for
true.
one.
It's awesome.
And it just looks fucking
I'm
cool.
sure it looks great. I wish that was on the DVD, or maybe it was on the DVD we saw it, and we just didn't look at the extras. It's possible.
Yep. So
I've still got it.
Just check it out. Maybe it's there. But there's a lot to be said about this film. Is anyone sorry, go ahead. I think Zach had a...
Well, I mean, just... For the people at home, we haven't begun to dig into how absurdly violent and depraved and completely lacking in any kind of moral
compass,
fiber, or anything this movie is. Like, there's certain scenes we haven't even talked about. Like when the hobo's off killing people, just some of the stuff you see. Like there's guys keeping women as like sex slaves and like cutting them up, and
oh god,
there's
they're all
pedophiles and there's pimps
and...
like raping prostitutes on the street, and
Santa Claus beating it outside of a fucking playground.
Yeah, Santa Claus is a pedophile who's abducting kids, and the one thing we didn't talk about is one point the Drake is very upset with his sons, and they're all standing there talking about it in his lair, but more importantly, in the background, there's a guy hanging upside down from a ceiling in his underwear, and there's a group of like 2 or 3 girls in bikinis, and they're beating him with baseball bats like a piñata.
Oh God! Right in the line.
Yes, this goes on for several minutes, and the guys, they're just kind of lightly beating him. And at a certain point, the Drake is lecturing his sons, and he's like, "Let me teach you a lesson. When life gives you razor blades, you make a baseball bat made of razor blades." And he pulls out a bat with razor blades all over it, and he hits the guy once, and the guy's
his whole shit just fucking comes apart.
It comes apart, and it cuts to close up in his face, and just guts spilling out over his face, and the blood
everywhere. Yeah. And the girls are all laughing and fucking like, oh God.
So just at every scene, they just continue to kind of shock you with just how. What was weird for me is how this town didn't run out of people, because they're constantly kidnapping and murdering new people in what looks like a fairly small town, and everyone in the town is involved in some kind of
shenanigans.
Shenanigans of some kind. Yeah,
indeed, shenanigans.
Yeah,
that's
some white shenanigans. So, real quick, I'm interested in what you guys think about this. This movie, I think it's supposed to be inspired by grindhouse exploitation style films, but a lot of it doesn't seem like it comes from that. A lot of it seems like it comes from other genres and other films. like RoboCop 2.
RoboCop 3.
No, don't say that word.
The RoboCop remake.
Yeah, no. But other films like that, it doesn't seem to be heavily inspired by
or even the John Carpenter
exactly.
escape movies.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. What I got from it is there was it takes place in this kind of small town, but it has a 1970s New York kind of vibe. The thing I compared it to was something like Death Wish or Taxi Driver, where just the city itself it was such a dangerous time. You couldn't go out at night without getting robbed. Any woman was out was going to be raped that night, and it was there was such an overwhelming sense of fear and danger and crime with everything in those kind of 70s movies. And then what did it always take? It took a regular man in the middle of it to finally say enough is enough and become a vigilante.
And start killing people.
Yeah, and to do what the police were either
for the right quote reasons.
Yeah,
Hobo
do what the police were either too scared to do or were corrupt and refused to do. And that's so. Yeah, I think a lot of the 70s New York kind of movies were part of the big inspiration for this.
Dirty Harry,
Dirty Harry,
Death Wish.
That was San Francisco.
Serpico. Yeah, well, all these
same deal
things,
though.
This is set anywhere in the world, sort of city. That's how it feels. Like it's not like a country. It's not like part of the state.
Anywhere in the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Come on. This could totally be in like the Arab Emirates.
Oh yeah, sure. Why not? I've never been there. You've never been there.
You say I've never been there?
I've never been there. You want to fight me about it?
Oh, you're right. I'm just saying.
You know what happens when you assume, Josh? You make an ass of you and me.
Oh shit. And we hump? I don't know.
We hump, yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh fuck.
So Josh, you got kind of an 80s.
I got an 80s synthy
vibe
sort
from
of
it.
feel more than grindhousey. Yeah, like
the white suits and bikinis definitely.
I was thinking more 80s
vibe.
decadent New York City more than 70s, just because there's like arcades and cocaine.
What's like a Miami Vice?
Yeah, there you go. Miami Vice and neon. We've got a few mixture of things, and everything what you said earlier is right spot on. But I just get a little.
The thing is, this it's weird because this place is a town. It's not like it's literally called a town, and it's not a city in the traditional sense where like you have this juxtaposition of extreme poverty and corruption as well as like extreme wealth, like that are able to fuel that particular kind of shitstorm. Like. This world doesn't make sense to me.
Hey, wait a minute. Are you saying this movie makes no sense?
Hobo
with a shotgun doesn't make sense. Okay.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Mr. Zardoz makes sense.
I love that title because it's like, Hobo with a shotgun. What's that about?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it's about 75 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And then they never talk to you again.
Yeah. but yeah, like this town it seems too small for like this much horrendous shit to be going on, like which suggests extreme poverty and depravity, whilst everybody still seems pretty middle class. It's like they're able to afford cocaine and arcade nights and murder sprees, and Santa doesn't have to go work at the mall because he can spend all his time jerking off at playgrounds. Like this doesn't make economic sense to me.
Well,
yeah, exactly. It's like
it doesn't have to.
Who are these people they're selling these sex slaves to if nobody has any money?
Yeah, like who's buying these drugs and like what jobs do anybody in this town have besides hooker and drug dealer?
Someone can contact Cinema Sins real quick, and just tell them Hobo with a shotgun doesn't make any sense economically. Economically, like the storyline.
My Marxist reading of this text, it just doesn't pan out. It doesn't make sense.
It's a great JP. We appreciate it.
Very postmodern.
Yeah. It's all incoherent.
Love that Trailer Park Boys though. Boy howdy.
Yeah. I'm fine. I don't need that world to make
I wonder how Peterson feels about this film.
Ooh, he has comments, I'm sure. Definitely. All right, so you guys going to take it as a strike against the film that its world is somewhat entirely unbelievable?
I mean, no.
It'd be more interesting if it did somehow make a little bit more sense, but it doesn't need it. It's this is it's supposed to be cartoonish.
It comes back to the question of why don't you just get on another train?
Yeah.
Because then there's no plot.
Go away. You're not. If you were from this, I got to stay and fight. This is my town. It's like, okay, sure, but you've never been there.
Yeah, I think it could have, like, if the story was trying to be more serious, they could have spent more time developing his, like, the reasons why he would stay. And obviously the girl, like, could be.
Well, I like how his backstory wasn't. We didn't know who he was. He was a guy who got off a train. He's a hobo. He has no name.
The man with no name sort of thing. Yeah, the Western.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, fuck. I mean, like, I feel like his only real impetus for sticking around is like that the place just pisses him off.
Exactly.
No, but with that too, do these people look like they have money to pay you to mow their lawn?
I mean, they got money for drugs.
Well, they were planning to move someplace where there are lawns galore. Like, that was their plan. They're going to get out of this fucking town.
Maybe he's been everywhere that train goes, and this is the last place it went. It's possible. And he, like, going back, if he went back on the train, it's taken back to square one. Like, where he started his hobo life, you know? So I don't know how the train system works there, but it could just be like...
Yeah, like, what... Like, how bad was the town before this that he had to leave, you know?
Maybe this is a common occurrence to him, you know? Like, this one just happened to be the one that took his life. But, you know, it could have been way more dangerous than the other ones.
Yeah.
Or at least so many bridges were burned where it's like, ugh, I got to get out of here.
Well, it's part of the hobo archetype, I'm going to say. To go from town to town. The point is of the hobo life is not to be tied to one place. It's you keep on moving.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get what you can from a town, and you beat the road, and you know, take off for the next, you know, port of call or whatever. And this just happened to be one that was particularly fucked up.
Yeah, but I'm fine with that. I mean, yeah, it didn't seem cartoonish. It seemed nonsensical, sure, but most of that just needed to justify a reason to really, like, blow people's heads off constantly. You know, that was all it really had to do was justify the violence.
Yeah, well, it's like all those other westerns. It's like, why did the stranger come to this town?
And why did he
fights,
stay? Yeah,
you know,
he fights.
Yeah,
and he seems like somebody who knows how to fight. Correct? Like, he wins a lot of his fights, except against the plague.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I mean, he was probably. It's like First Blood. You know, he was in Nam, and it really messed him up, and now he's been homeless.
Yeah, this is like First Blood meets RoboCop.
Yeah,
meets a Death Wish. Yeah, there's a lot of combinations.
Well, meets Falling Down.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Mandy, real quick, since we did bring that up earlier.
Yeah.
How much do you think?
Yeah, so what the hell is this thing? You guys have been going on about this. I have no idea.
It's a Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
You have to watch it, trust me. It's his best film.
Whoa,
debatable. I know The Vampire's Kiss or whatever you like more.
No, God, no.
No, I thought you liked that more. It has
Bad
some
Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans is my favorite.
Oh, yeah, I
still think Mandy's better than
see
that. I just watched that one again recently, too. But I was like, it's good.
No, Vampire's Kiss. I mean, Vampire's Kiss is.
It's a classic.
It is a classic.
Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and recommend this. I think we should do Nick Cage November.
Oh, I'm not against that, but it is the middle of November.
Well, we were supposed to. Never mind.
Yeah.
We never stick to plans. That's okay.
Whose pick is it for next week anyway? I'm just curious.
It's Tristan's.
Okay.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
yes. So guess what? No, wait. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
But yeah, I feel like a lot of Mandy scenes. Mandy was definitely inspired by this. It had to have been.
Yeah, Mandy is another one where it's kind of going along, and then out of nowhere, this kind of chain metal demon biker gang shows up.
All high on cocaine.
Well, no, they took some very bad acid, which made them
back
that
at their
way
base, yes, they have cocaine everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of Mandy. The biggest thing about Mandy is the use of the colors.
Yeah, lighting, which is very much there in the hospital scene, which is the most Mandy-esque part of it. But this is like
saturated color.
Yeah, this is like 8 years before Mandy, whatever it was too.
Yeah.
So I feel like that guy definitely got something from that movie. He had to.
Right on. So we move on to final thoughts, or do we want to discuss whether or not the homeless guy was actually crazy?
I don't think he was crazy. He just,
He goes on a murder spree.
He's definitely somewhat insane, right? He has some sociopathy.
Come on. If you live in a place where the cops were like that messed up, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to go on a murder spree because it's crazy. It's like, is it really because it's crazy or because you're just a coward?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
like really, it's not. It has nothing to do with sanity.
Well, how about beside just the killing spree? Let's take that away from it.
Besides,
well, no, yeah, he's
incoherent ramblings.
He's better than a lot of homeless people we see around here.
But it's a spectrum. Doesn't mean because you're not on top of it doesn't mean that he's also not it too. So like maybe on a scale.
No, well, he obviously has some problems, or he wouldn't be a homeless guy riding the. I'm not saying he's perfect by no means, but you know.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying he maybe has a bit of a psychotic problem.
Yeah, I think he has PTSD. I think he was in the war.
The war. There you go.
You know, doesn't matter what probably Nam.
Yeah,
you know,
whatever war Canada didn't take part of because they're a bunch of cowards.
Which was Nam, by the way.
Yeah,
Maybe he was maybe he just fought bears before this, and that's why he's a bear guy now. And like, I found that quote that kind of explains his character. Like, there's something else about bears that not many people know. If a bear gets hooked on a taste of human blood, it becomes a man killer. He'll go on a rampage and has to be destroyed. That's like why you should never hug a bear.
Is that an exact quote?
And then he goes to sleep. Yeah. That's an exact quote. Yeah. So
and he happens to leave her a bear like, picture, too. By the way.
Oh yeah, she's got one thing about Abby's like apartment when they get into it. She has an empty picture frame. One empty picture frame.
Oh, yeah, her one belonging.
And before he leaves, he puts a picture of a bear in it, and we're like, "Where did he get the picture?"
Yeah, he has a perfectly cut picture of a bear.
She keeps it on him just for the situation because it's every town is doing the same thing, except this happened to just be the last town. Maybe that's where his PTSD really came from. It's just civilization.
Yeah,
there's nothing civil about it.
And about this. And this magic circle business, like, I think, like, the magic part, like, the magic circle, the bear, like, you know, his territory that he protects, right? And, like, if you come inside of it within a mile, like, the bear can come across you and he'll maul you. But, like, I think the magic part of the circle implies, like, his own psyche, right? It's like, he doesn't let anybody get too close to him. Like, you shouldn't get too close to me. Like, he's warning Abby, like, you know, don't hug a bear. Don't, like, you know, become too close to me because I'll end up killing you or you'll end up dying somehow.
Yeah. His warning, his way of
warning.
And
sure enough, she gets her fucking hand chopped off.
Yeah, but he died.
Well, yeah, and if it hadn't been, you know, if he really hadn't gotten roped in with her in the first place, like it would, yeah. I'm not saying it wouldn't have happened, but really a whole lot of what happens and his eventual death is because of, you know, messing around with her, you know.
Yeah, he would have had to find some other kind of excuse to go on a kill page,
right,
kill rampage.
So I guess the moral of the story is you can't love these hoes.
Oh no!
Sorry.
So the moral of the movie is you can't love these hoes.
Oh God! You can't love these hobos.
Those hobos, those hoes, those homos.
These hobos ain't loyal.
Right. He is pretty loyal.
Yeah, he is actually super.
Yeah, no, he's loyal to a town that doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
About anything.
I think there's a suggestion in the film that there is a population a segment of the population, you know, that has children, raises kids, you know, has families.
Yeah, well, it's all about, you know, he's, you know, somebody pulls a gun on the baby, he starts. Somebody bombs a school bus, he gets mad. Somebody, you know, Santa rapes a kid. Now you pissed him off. Yeah. You know, he does give a shit about kids because they are the only ones who are innocent, you know?
Yeah. Something he's not anymore, and he knows it.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know.
So, I don't think he's insane. Maybe I'm just going to say he's in an insane world. He's in a world where he stars in a movie called Hobo with a Shotgun, and there's no sane
Yeah, he belongs to that world. And yeah. And he got a taste for human blood. He was the bear who got the taste for human blood, and he needed to be destroyed. Yeah. Like, you know, he knew his own death was coming, and like, I don't know, he's at the end of his life. Like, what you know, what are you gonna fucking die for as a hobo, other than the possible salvation of like one person or this town?
Yeah,
like,
But in the context of this world, he's 100% insane.
Oh yeah.
But here he's fine. Or there he's fine.
Yeah.
In his world, he's
Here
fine.
he's par for the
Yeah,
course. Par for the course.
no crazier than anyone else.
Nah, not at all.
You want to touch on any other aspects, or do we want to go to final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Who wants to start? Zach should go first or last since it's his movie.
I'll go. I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes a lot to shock me in my movies, and I remember the first time I saw this, like, I figured it would be, pretty good, Hobo with a Shotgun, but just the sheer depth of, it's not even about the killing itself. It's just the tone of, like, yeah, this place is like that fucked up, and it would be really easy to kind of pile on with trying to have some moral of the whole thing, and it does that a bit, but
It's fucking gone. There's nothing.
Yeah, no, but it never comes across as like maudlin or like talking down to you, or like, oh, this is what America's like. Nick, no, these people know they're, we're here because we want to see some blood. We want to screw around. Really, we are Drake's townsfolk audience.
Yeah, we are the mob.
Yeah, and but still, the movie, the reason it works is because it never takes itself too seriously. It knows what it's here to do, what kind of movie it is, what we want to see, and it never wavers from that at all. And that's why I think it's so good at what it does. So it's going to be one of my highest ratings. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Fuck yeah!
I love it. I love it.
Interesting. Do you want to go?
All right, you go for it, Josh.
Okay. Well, I agree with most of everything you said. It's got good pacing. The cinematography is as inventive and as active as it needs to be. I mean, it's good lines. The world makes no economic sense whatsoever, so that's kind of a huge problem. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally prepared to suspend my disbelief for a film called Hobo Shotgun. At the same time, like, I'm not gonna, like, this isn't like a major diss against it, but you get kind of like, once you see the same like death over and over and over and over and over again, it's kind of hard to one up it each time. Then that's when they start killing kids, obviously, and be like, hey, we can one up it even still. But they do that still pretty early in the film, so it's kind of like, okay, you've shocked everything out of me now, so there's nothing you can surprise me with. The only thing that redeems it from that is basically the hand scene with the girl in the blade. That kind of is like, okay, that's shocking enough, just because she killed that scene. All in all, I liked it. I want to give it a 8 out of 10.
Nice. All right. To sum up, yeah, you got great kills. The Canadian cast of like characters and connections to my beloved Trailer Park Boys. Rob Wells and Ricky getting fucking murdered as the first kill. That was pretty great. And you can't get a simpler sell for me, like in a movie like title Hobo with a Shotgun. It's so easy, makes perfect sense, and it's the disenfranchised taking power, which is always a great trope. It's sort of a Cinderella story about shotgun murder. And, great one-liners and, shockingly horrible depravity at every turn. There's just a lot to like about this movie. It doesn't make you think too hard. It is pure entertainment. And for that... and the acting, of course, the straightforward, like everybody gives a really good performance because they know what movie they're making. I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8.9.
Whoa, sir.
I can watch this fucking every year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is definitely one of those films you can bust out with the homies and then just get something new out of it every time because it's such a fast-paced film. There's so much we probably even missed. I'm sure, Zach, how many times have you seen this, Zach?
2 or 3 times, but I mean, the first time I saw it was in theaters.
Do you feel like each time you've watched it, you've like caught something new? I feel like this is the perfect kind of movie.
Yeah, definitely, because it was so long ago.
Yeah,
that I
true.
saw it.
That's just time, though.
I saw this. It came out like 9 years ago.
How about this? 1 year from today, we're going to revisit the movie.
Does it still stand up?
It's still going to be great then.
Yeah, I want to know if it gets better, worse, or if I'm more interested in like how much we catch the second viewing. So that could be an interesting just topic between us.
Yeah, well, it's you'll see little just little things about how they do the kills, or just how I don't really know how to describe these lines. They're so just vulgar.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're so crass.
Crass is good.
That it's funny, but also you're just like, wow, I feel dirty just hearing that,
It's like, don't watch it with your parents. That's all I'm saying.
I think my dad may have. I think I told him.
Or watch it with Zach's parents.
he may have
watch
seen
it. Watch it at Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
You're like, if you're gonna do it, do it.
100%.
Yeah.
So, awesome job. That was a fun movie. And I guess our next episode.
Tristan.
Oh yeah.
Tristan gets to pick.
So, I'm gonna pick a movie I have not seen, but I think you guys may have.
Is it Vampire's Kiss?
Oh God, no! I look. So I've been looking at. I've been side scrolling through Nick Cage movies because I do think we do a little bit of Nick Cage November here. I'm gonna go with the recent release Color Out of Space.
Thank God.
Oh
yeah!
I just watched that like last weekend. Sweet.
All right.
Fuck yeah! So I might be the only one who needs to see this again.
Yeah, and I've been waiting for like.
Oh yes! All right, fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, Color Out of Space and Nick Cage.
I'll do. It's one of his best performances in a while.
I'm excited.
He makes
for that.
very, very strange choices.
Yeah. After a meteorite lands in the front yard of their farm, Nathan Gardner, played by Nick Cage, and his family find themselves battling a mutant extraterrestrial organism that infects their minds and bodies, transforming their quiet rural life into a technicolor nightmare.
It's based on a Lovecraft story.
Yeah.
So
and
it's a
I'm
love
not
story.
the biggest Lovecraft fan, but
Yeah. Well, that's what I'll do. I'll read the Lovecraft story this week because I already watched this movie last week.
Oh, there you go.
And
I might listen
I'll
to
read the
audio
Lovecraft thing and compare it, and maybe we'll get a little bit more into Mandy too, because there's much like this one brought stuff over from Mandy.
It's the same director, same writer. I believe.
I don't think it's the same director. It's
No?
some of the same producers though.
Okay.
Yeah, who because it looks a lot like Mandy in terms of the color.
I doubt it's as over the top so far as the world building is, since Mandy was its own thing.
It's Nick Cage is over the top.
Yeah, Nick Cage is the top for sure. Sounds great. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, man.
That was
Nick Cage November,
Thanks
motherfuckers.
for listening to our show. Have a great weekend or something.
You know what? Have a shitty
Have a
day,
shitty day. Have the worst day.
but a great fucking week.
Well, it was a story about him. I didn't mean to hire such a dickhead. You know me. I don't. Why can't I do a good accent?
Like, hey, we can't do a good accent.
It's like my Canadian accent, eh? Sorry about that, okay?
Sorry about that, mate.
Cheech Marin trying to be.
I know, dude.
You know, try to sound like how do you say it?
It's funny, man, because Tommy Chong is in Colorado space and he acts exactly how you expect him to act, you know?
That's not a bong, man.
Get this freaking thing off my neck! Come on, somebody help me! I'm fucking dying here!